things I'm doing a little different that'll kind of feed into what you're going over today. So it just, it changes things up. But the bottom line is, if you always think outside the box, you're always looking for the opportunity, and there are ways to put yourself out there. I got an appointment tomorrow for a $680,000 house on 2.5 acres down by a lake. And the guy it helped that he was prior military, so we had the connection. But just the way I laid out what we're doing different, he was just like the fact that we're outside the box and thinking ahead of stuff and putting their safety first. So I'll get into that later.
Well, no, I mean, that's a perfect segue into the conversation. And I know Troy had something he was going to add in there today about what he's been seeing with some of the clients. Let's talk about that, because that's an important piece to discuss as we're moving forward. And we'll go over on whether or not we should change ad copy, on whether or not we should change our automations right now, because that's going to be a big part of this.
I would say yes. So here's the thing. I sit there. I just got back from Oklahoma the other day. My son's coming here to McCord to fly the same jets I did. Woohoo! But talking to people, you get fears everywhere, and I got people I know everywhere, and some of the groups I'm in. I'm checking with MLS, and I suggest a lot of people should check your MLS as well. What I'm doing, I've got like buyers up here. I'm just getting beat up because they're still buying, and the multi offers are just crazy. But one of the things for the sellers is they're getting all this crazy traffic through their house. So one of the things that I'm giving out there is the fact that we're cutting down the traffic coming through there, because they don't know who comes through, and you never know who has what. And I've shifted my range further south from the Seattle area to where I'm away from most of where the coronavirus is impacting everybody. And people are really, really panic buying. You see it on the news. It's no joke. It's crazy to watch them line up halfway around Costco waiting to get in. But one of the things I'm checking with MLS is I'm seeing if it's okay in the public remarks, if we just comment that there's a video tour, and that if they have an agent, just to ask them to send them the link. And we're video on our houses, and we just upload it to YouTube, and we give the link to the other agent. He can show the house, and if they want to get in, they can. But we're designing our thing where we're cutting traffic down. So I just have to make sure that I'm not violating any MLS verbiage. And that's the thing I recommend everybody else. If you're going to video something, cut down the traffic. See if you're able to post something about video, because they don't let you post live links in there. So I'm not worried about the live links, but I want to make sure that when we're giving them the verbiage, that they know they can get a link from us. And so for the seller, the nice thing is they know that traffic is cut way down. They're still getting people doing the views. They're still getting activity, and the houses are still selling. And for the agents, what's nice is you're kind of minimizing your risk too, because you don't know where the 3 or 4 buyers, if you're working, like I do mostly sellers, but I have buyers. I don't know where the buyers have been, so cutting your risk down to yourself as well. As if you're going out, you're doing the videos, uploading it, you're still getting the contact, you're still maintaining the relationship, but you're minimizing your risk as well, because it isn't just other people, it's yourself and your families that you have to think of also.
Well, and one thing that I really wanted to address here is that, given what's happening around us, obviously there's a need to adapt and do some things slightly differently. You may or may not be as concerned as those around you, and that's perfectly fine. There's no need for us to add into the fear mongering and all this other stuff that's out there. We all know that there's a situation, we need to work with it. So the way that I like to put this is while we are adapting a little bit what we're doing right now, really what we're doing is we're using this as an opportunity to expedite what was coming anyways, right? Regardless of whether or not we had this virus and the sickness and everything that's going on, a lot of the tools that we're going to be suggesting you implement are tools that we've been working on for a while, long before this scare ever happened and long before it's gone. We're going to hopefully have most of you guys on board with offering a lot of these virtual tours, digital solutions, things that save you money, save you time, save your clients time as well. So a lot of these things are positive in that regard. So we're expediting a little bit, fair, right? We're going to choose to change our verbiage a little bit. We have to be careful how we offer these solutions. We don't want to, once again, jump on board and use this as an opportunity to make money, so to speak. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're not being insensitive or careless in our verbiage, but we can come up with, and we're a very smart group of individuals, everybody here, right? We have a collective. Let's really use our collective knowledge to build verbiage that's, once again, not fear-mongering, but positive and just offers different solutions. And so we're starting to come up with a few things here, and I really want to get everybody else's advice here so that we can really start jotting down some notes, and really let's, instead of doing the way we usually do, which is slowly and we start building, let's do this a little bit quicker. Let's come up with verbiage that everybody agrees with, that's, once again, not feeding into what's already out there, but more dealing with the solution. And offering digital solutions, I think that's going to be huge. So video walkthroughs. So instead of showing the home to 20 people before one buys it, right, or more, let's really make sure that they've seen the video walkthrough, that any questions that they might have, they have an opportunity to speak to us as the listing agent if need be, right? Put your questions through your buying agent. Let's have a good conversation. Let me know exactly what they're looking for, right? And if you can cut down that list of potential buyers down to 2 or 3, then stagger their appointments appropriately and sanitize. There are ways for us to still do this. We can still do this job, right? But yeah, I mean, for us anyways, we're really starting to recommend video integrations, very much like this. You can meet with potential buyers through your computer. You can start these conversations. You can do so much digitally and virtually now. You know, it's, once again, it's just a good opportunity to get yourself set up with some of these tools to help you deal with what's happening now, but then setting yourself up well beyond when this is all going.
I think it's also important that we remember that the need that people have for our services still exists. I know 3 people who aren't on this call this morning because they're following up with leads. So business is still going on. There's still people out there, and sometimes we want to take a back seat on this. Yes, some people's timelines have shifted, but they've just shifted for the time being. So how can I offer them solutions and be of service to them in a time where I can show that I actually care about their apprehension and their fears? Like, we're all on a different level of fear level. We're all kind of navigating that ourselves. But how do I be attentive to, I might not be as terrified as someone else, but how do I be attentive to their level and offer them something that will make them feel better in this time? How much is that going to speak volumes to the people that you're working with, that you went out of your way to offer them a solution in a time of need where their timelines didn't change? They're moving, they have stuff going on that they have to attend to now, regardless of what's going on in the world. So I think it says a lot about our character and our expertise and who we are when we offer solutions in this time, and be patient with people, knowing that this will pass. And as it passes, when it passes, the people that offered the value and stood there and said, it's going to be okay, let me be there for you right now, are the ones you're going to run to when it's time to do the next step.
I've got an interview with a buyer tomorrow morning that was referred to me, and as opposed to meeting at my office, we just agreed to do a Zoom meeting. They haven't been pre-approved yet. We're just going to do a Zoom meeting, talk about what they're thinking about, and I'm going to get them hooked up with my lender and just kind of see how this thing shakes out here before we get out there and start looking around.
I think that's the right way to do this, is get a really good understanding of where they are. And I mean, you can even suggest them meeting with your lender through Zoom. A lot of lenders don't do Zoom, I've found. And the more I speak to different lenders, the more we're recommending this exact same thing. And you know, the biggest issue that a lot of lenders have is that it's harder these days to get people into their offices, right? Obviously, right? So this is just another good opportunity to kind of, you know, line your ducks up, get them all in a row. So find people who are still having questions. You know, you've got this, a lot of people will look at this as an opportunity inevitably, right? I mean, with rates where they're going, and who knows what else is going to happen. There's a lot of opportunity out there. So that means there are still buyers. There are people who still want to buy. I would say that the amount of sellers may start to slow down a little bit unless we can really all kind of get together and come up with a solution that really makes sense for sellers as well. And like Leon was saying, is as well as limiting the traffic through their home. You know, a lot of people, if they're considering what does selling my home look like, for somebody really looking at the situation now, that means, okay, traffic in my home. That means realtors in and out of my home. That means I don't want this right now, right? But if we can offer a quick and easy solution that doesn't involve those things, I think that there's still people who want to sell and move. There's definitely people who want to buy. Let's figure out a way to put people together that doesn't involve actual hand holding. You know what I mean, right? So there's things that we can do, and we'll definitely be working on some solutions.
Well, what people Zoom is free. You can have a free account because you're not looking at a mass conference. One of the things, the steps they've taken here in Washington State, DFI, which is the Department of Financial Institute, they had got to the thing after the mortgage meltdown where they're making people come in and keep the lender files in the office instead of working from home. So they last week released that. They're letting people telecommute. So the buyer files are being worked from home. And Marcus will love this one. Most of the people in StreetText, they're Facebook anyway. So if you have to talk to them, Facebook Messenger, it's a good time now to work them over into that one slowly so that it's not so much fear but necessity that they'll talk to you if they have to get it done. So we can still leave them online and do the social media and the social distancing and have all that. And like I say, the big selling point to a seller, especially if they have kids, is like, look, you know, we understand what's going on. The military, for like me, that's a large part of my database. They have put a freeze on all their TDYs, all their moves, if it's not essential. And I was talking to one of the guys yesterday from the bigger side of the JBLM, the Army side, and they're waiting until they go to essential personnel only. So one of the thought processes everybody should be having on reaching out is, if people are home and can't go nowhere and want something to do, what better time to catch them than now? And, you know, we always say this is a long-term thing anyway for getting our listings. So even if you're just setting something up for now with them, this is the best time to reach out because they're not going anywhere. They're home, and this is the best opportunity. You have their attention. And when you roll out your package and you're telling them, you know, we understand what's going on. You know, we do virtual tours and we also do video so that we can keep the traffic down. The biggest thing is safety. When they see you're looking out for them, you know, you're looking for that connection that it works. It does.
Yeah, I think that once again, it's also important that we adjust the verbiage so that people know that there is an opportunity, but I think you have to be really careful not to highlight that fact. You know, now's the best time to buy, things like that. We have to be really careful with the verbiage that we use so we don't seem insensitive. But yeah, absolutely, there's lots of opportunities still.
With the rates having dropped though, everybody's on the move. Lenders are buried. I mean, the refis are super up and the buyers are jumping. So you don't have to seem insensitive. All you do is, you know, you're there to offer the service that they're looking for. That's why they were on Facebook in the first place.
Absolutely.
And if I may, hi guys, it's been a long time I've been there. Hello from Montreal. Just also to let you know that we need to keep the narration. We need to keep control of the narration of everything we're going to say. Yesterday, I had an interview with the journalist from Bloomberg from Montreal asking me if there's a big shift, is that affecting a lot the market? Unfortunately, no. Montreal market is crazy. Everybody's buying at not reasonable prices. And I made an offer and there was 9 offers on the condo that usually will have no offers. And my clients paid a big price and they still don't have it. So journalists are, and it's not to put them down, but they always love to have, you know, the sensational titles. They need to be the first to bring the bad news or the good news. We are the first in line. We are on the field every day. We need to tell them the reality. We have access to all the numbers, all the stats. And just telling the client that everything's going to be okay. Everybody needs to buy and sell. The market is not moving. The market is not affected necessarily by this virus that killed way less people than the flu, way less people than cancer, way less people than cigarettes. That, you know, it's just the new kid on the block, very trendy right now. That's it. In a month, we're gonna laugh about this situation because right now in China, it's already over. So people are just focusing on what's on the now because this is the world we're living in today. We're living in what's happening now on Facebook, Instagram, what's happening. But what happened 1 month ago? Oh, I don't remember. This is where we are today. So we just need to keep the narration. We need to keep control of everything that's going to be said and just go for contribution. You know, you just call your clients, call your database. That's what I did all morning long. I called my clients. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How can I help? That's it. Not even selling or buying anything. I'm here for you guys. That's it.
It's important to lead with facts. You're right. Absolutely. State the facts. And I think more now than ever is actually to nurture the relationships that you already have. Reinforce those relationships and lead by example. I know for some of you, I've been telling you for a long time, like now is the time to focus in on the relationships you have on Facebook. So to start looking at Facebook Messenger a little bit differently and uniquely and start segmenting your entire Facebook into lists. because you have a little bit more time and you can be intentional about connecting with people by Facebook Messenger. A lot of you today I connect with, right? Because with Facebook Messenger, you can send them a quick video message, just be genuine, just to check in, to see how they're doing, see how you can help, just to check in. Current clients, past clients, potential clients, these leads that you're working with. And you can start segmenting them to lists like we've always talked about, and creating this management system within Facebook, because we've already always talk about how we don't have enough time to do this. If you have a little bit of downtime, now is the time to really focus on every single relationship you have on Facebook. And if you don't have the relationships, try to start getting them on Facebook, because everybody's here. That's where everybody's getting their news, good, bad, and indifferent. And this news feed is being saturated with a lot of bad news. So you need to be the one that's giving them great news. Like where all this news feed is populating and then they're getting all this crazy stuff, given the scenarios today, you need to be the difference. You need to be the leader. You need to be the influencer. You need to be the encourager, and sharing with them the truth and the facts, right? Inspire and lead, because that's who they're looking to. Troy, what were you saying? Can you unmute yourself there really quickly?
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
Perfect. Okay. What were you saying that you told me a quick story today about what some of your clients were doing?
Oh man. So I'm seeing some fun stuff, and it's really just first off, they're reaching out to their clients and saying, hey, you know, just want to let you guys know that we really first off care about you and we're here for you. So if you need anything, just reach out. You know, if you need something from the grocery store, I'd be happy to go and grab it for you and drop it off at your door. You know, if you need somebody to talk to, just let me know. Give me a quick call, or we can nice, Steve. But or we can meet, you know, we can meet via Zoom or whatever, have a quick video chat, right? So first off, meet people like right where they're at as humans, that you care. This isn't about a transaction. This isn't necessarily about business. We're just community, right? And then there's a lot of people are sitting there wondering too, okay, how does this all work, right? You know, I want to sell my home. So how's that going to work in this with what's going on? I want to buy a home. How's that going to work? Am I allowed to even go see homes? That sort of thing. So offer them like what you can do that's really, that's going to be unique. And that's kind of, I think the big thing is setting up going, hey, this is what I can offer. This is how I move. This is how I'm adapting to make sure that first off, we protect you, but also let's make sure that, you know, that everything is still flowing smoothly here. So if you're on the listing side and you might be worried about a bunch of people coming in, cool. We're going to be offering, you know, if anybody comes through your home, we're going to make sure that they sanitize their hand. We're going to even make them wear gloves, you know, so when they walk through, they're not touching everything. And this is what I offer. You know, when people leave, I will wipe down all the doorknobs, wipe down the light switches, and make sure that the house is, you know, left in a clean, orderly fashion, right? That sort of thing. Buyer side, maybe to cut down on the traffic. If they've got a few homes they want to see, you go out there and do a virtual tour of the home for them, right? Record, hey, this is what the home looks like, or, you know, and then they kind of see it. And then if they're more serious, well, maybe that might be the next step to actually go see the home in person. But you can cut out, again, a lot of that traffic and a lot of that different things. Yeah, maybe we're not going to go out in a car together, right? So we'll go in separate vehicles if we're going to go view properties. You know, so kind of play up on and make it fun, right? So how you can joke about it, make it fun, but always make it that it is about them. We care. We're gonna work through this. You know, houses, people are still selling, they're still buying. Houses are still moving. This isn't a housing crisis at all. Might be a toilet paper crisis, right? But that's a whole other issue. And we can actually just make this work. Like it's gonna work. Houses are gonna move. We just have to do some things that are just slightly differently. What I'm excited about in all of this that I see is that we're just seeing a shift. We're actually gonna see a cultural shift, how we're just gonna operate things just a slightly bit differently. And it was something that was, like Logan alluded to it, it was something that was gonna happen already. We were already shifting more to a virtual kind of world and remote work and having to do things slightly different anyway. It's just been accelerated now. And it's about how we adapt. And we always talk about speed to lead, or speed to relationship. How about speed to adaptation, right? How are we going to change with it? How are we going to offer something different? How are we going to do it? And how do we then change our messaging to be reflective of that, right? We'll get a new lead coming in through one of our ads and they get that initial, email. What are we going to put in there that's going to pique their interest, that makes you different than everybody else? They might not be hearing that from somebody else, how you're going to care for them. So I think there's lots of really fun things to do in there. You know, you can call out, and I know I've seen ones like, hey, we're big time huggers, so we're a little bit sad about that. So next time we see you, we might not hug you, but we'll give you a nice friendly smile and a wave, right? So it's all about.
You can give them a little elbow tap.
This month, yeah.
Elbow tap.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a need to change into the ad copy myself. I think the ads still work the same. They're no different. People are still thinking the same. If anything, you might want to change your automated video message to reflect what's going on. That's the thing that I would focus on, is the connection piece. Because once the lead is submitted, it's all the same initial introduction and impression you're providing, and service you're providing. So that would be the opportunity to create something that's more custom. The ad itself, the templates don't need to change. The templates are still working. I'm running, Logan's running, we're all running the same ads, seeing great results. Nothing's changing. You know, people are still submitting their information online, still curious to see what they could sell their home for, still wanting to know a list of properties in Denver with a blank under blank, right? Like that's the same type of verbiage everybody's still clicking through. You don't have to use any other verbiage. Everybody knows what's going on. Right? Rocky, are you sharing something on accident, or are you wanting to show something? Let's see here. I don't think Rocky meant to do that. Rocky, you just shared your screen. Did you notice you shared your screen there, Rocky?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. I don't know if you had something you wanted to share.
Not yet.
All right.
We should be sharing wins. Would you got any wins?
Yeah. So yeah, who wants to talk about what's currently going on? Anyone got some great stories based on the leads? This would be the perfect time.
Telling you, when I logged on, my call center set one for me yesterday, and I called a guy back. So I'm going out to the house tomorrow for an appointment, and they're actually downsizing as well, but they want to stay in the same area. So the cool thing for them is where they live at, it's down around a lake, and everybody's living on 2.5 acre pieces. So they've got large lots and kind of got their separation, but these guys want to stay in the same area. So they're downsizing from a just shy of 5,000 square foot house to, they said it's just the husband and wife now. So they want to minimize down to about 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. So knowing the area where they're at makes it easier for me, and being out where they're at, it's almost like a private community of homes and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice. But like I said, I'm just filtering away from the Seattle area because that's just where all the excitement is for us right now up there. And, you know, navigating, you can find, you know, I always say people find humor. We used to call it air crew humor because we'd be out flying and just the craziest things going on. But now you find humor where you're down there and you try to find something to just make it laugh and ease the pain a little bit. When you're talking about the long lines and you walk in and there's no toilet paper or water, but you could buy everything else, it kind of makes it interesting that people don't seem to think there's other necessities you might need in life.
Yeah, I think one of the key things is to tap into the fact that we know that the mortgage rates are low, right? They're extremely low right now. Why not highlight that with an ad? It's perfect. It's great communication. It is a fact, right? And so for some buyers, they may not know that. They may not be checking that. But once they know that, that might incentivize them to actually want to go and click on this ad. So I would highlight that and include it in your automations as you're explaining, you know, even the trends. Like if you're clicking on a buyer ad and the first automated email is you talking about the trends. Hey, this is where it was at last week. This is where it was at last month. Look at the shift. Look at the change. Look what's happening. If ever there was a time to purchase a property, it's now, right? This is the time. And like with that, we know that Facebook is a place where, because of the nature of top of funnel, because of the nature of Facebook, those buyers are most likely sellers. We often forget that. That's why we call it the buyer to seller funnel. Guess what? Your sellers are buyers. Like it's It's just checking in, creating a relationship. Nothing changes here. If anything, you're being more intentional and genuine in your approach. It's not a cookie cutter autoresponder. It's time to dive in and actually personally reach out to people, personally reach out to your leads. Don't just let your automations do their thing. Reach out. You know, Leon, remember we talked about you bust out the whiteboard. You write their name on the whiteboard, right? You talk to them as if you were talking to someone face to face. You create the relationship. You find them on Facebook. You send them a friend request. You create automations that also reflect that, because at the end of the day, it's all connection. And for some people that were telling me, you're like, you know, well, I can't get a hold of them. They're not, you know, they're not my friends yet, so they're not going to get that message. Guess what? Then keep on doing the notifications. You know how to do the notifications? You send the friend request. Tomorrow, you cancel the friend request. You send the friend request again. New notification. You love notifications. They're little dopamine hits. Eventually, they're going to try to figure out what the connections to be, right? And at some point, if you're being intentional and you're being genuine and trying to serve them with the best information, and you're literally sending them real personal messages, not just some cookie cutter, you know, text where it feels very impersonal, but actually getting on the camera and doing your thing, that's where you're going to create relationships one-on-one. So I think now is the time to really take some extra steps and tap into technology that you already have and get innovative with your approach. Start learning, start utilizing BombBomb, and consider investing in Zoom. And this is the technology that we have available today. If you're not going to adapt into it, it's going to be really hard for you to actually succeed and excel where everybody else is still kind of using the boring generic drip campaigns and, not converting their leads because they're not adapting to technology. So just something to kind of to share. Wendy, are you there, Wendy?
She's driving.
Oh, she's driving. Yeah, don't get off the wheel.
Nah, you could just mute.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I have an appointment tomorrow. I'm excited. My first StreetText appointment during this crazy time.
Well, walk us through that lead. How did you get that lead? What kind of lead was it? How did you guys start a conversation?
It was the same as we've been doing the home value leads, and she clicked on the video, watched the video CMA, booked through my calendar link, and I confirmed. So, and then I confirmed again today to make sure she still wants me in her house. And yep, so that'll be exciting.
So for those of you that weren't here last week, Wendy shared her automated video that she has in there. It's really cool, as well as her brand. And then we had a post that came out of it with, hopefully more of you start participating. Leon, talking to you. So if you go into the insider group, we try to really focus on drawing your attention through the announcements section. So when you look at the announcements section, you can see kind of the way, like, here was the StreetText challenge that we posted. Post your video, email, autoresponder in the comments below. And this is even better now than ever, especially considering what we're just talking about today. And you can see Wendy's. Let me try to find it here for you. We've got a bunch of them. Wendy's is in here, and so is Lori Allen. Lori Allen's been on some great relationships too. Shoot, if you're there, Lori, we'd love to hear about it. I love this video. You said been doing well. Here's Wendy's. I'll just play it real quick.
Wendy with LB Sweet Homes Realty. I got your request for the home price valuation, and I am on it. I also attached a link below to my Facebook profile, and we'll be sending you a quick friend request very soon. I just want to make sure that you have a chance to meet me. Well, I hope to talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Okay, it doesn't stop there though, because if you look at the way she formats her email, there's the subject line. We all know the subject line. She's getting pretty good open rates, about 50%. The auto pull in the first name. You've got the meet me on Facebook, which is awesome because we're drawing to the connection back on Facebook, right? Facebook being your CRM, we talked about that. And then she's got her little peace sign that that's kind of her brand. It's a super cool, just, are there any updates or recent renovations that I should be aware of? Just really simple, text and context around the video, and that right there is the formula. Right, Wendy?
Yes, and I did one yesterday. I don't know if anybody was on Tristan's webinar. There was like 15,000 people on it, I think. But it was really good, and you know, it basically kind of woke me up, because I've been that person that keeps saying everything's gonna be fine, it'll be fine, you know, because we're just programmed to be fucking positive. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so we're programmed to be positive.
Don't apologize, this is real.
And then, you know, so that's just, you know, my husband comes home and tells me all this stuff he's finding out. I'm like, ah, la, 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 you know, I don't want to hear it. I just know everything's going to be fine. And they told you need to stop telling people everything's going to be fine, because you don't know if everything's going to be fine. And so I did this super real video, and I sent it out to all of my past clients via BombBomb. And then I did, you know, the list that we were putting the sellers in from StreetText. I did another one on Facebook just to that group, so that they could see it too. And I got a lot of responses, so it was good.
Okay, wait, say that one more time, because I don't think people heard that. The list, talk to me about what is the list you're talking about.
Right, so when we get leads, I go into Facebook and I try to find them. And sometimes, because they get filtered into follow-up box, and sometimes it'll already be on there. Sometimes it'll be in StreetText, like a link to their Facebook profile, or you could just manually look them up. And I always friend request them, because I'm telling them initially that I'm friend requesting them. So it's not like a stalker thing. They already know it's going to happen. And then I automatically put them into a seller list. So that way, when I want to post just to them, then I do a post on my personal page, and I just target that list.
So like this, right? Seller leads. I don't know if you can see it. Can you guys see what I'm doing?
No.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. So here is what Wendy's talking about. When you go to friend request somebody, right when you go to friend, we're friends right now, so I don't have to, but let's just say I was on someone's profile. I've never met him before, and I found him on Facebook. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on friend request, and then it's going to allow me to create a list. And at this moment, where you can see this, I put this, he's one of Logan's clients, and I also put her in StreetText clients, because you can drop them in multiple lists. You follow up with a message, because that ensures you're using your Facebook as CRM to be able to track it in the future and see who's seen it. And then if you go to your home page and you go to your friends list, here are all your lists. And all of a sudden, you created this entire database. Of course, there's going to be some people that haven't accepted your friend request. That's fine, but guess what? You know, just like you see here, what we were talking about, she has hers for seller leads. Here are my people on trial. Have all 36 of these people accepted my friend request? No, but it's a management system for me. I can see all these people and understand who I've created a relationship with. Okay, now I have my own private newsfeed, and that is the list. She's created a list of which now she can drop content only to this list. No one else on her Facebook, just this list. And it's so powerful, because if you use Facebook this way, you have now shifted entirely into Facebook as being a relationship management system for yourself. And now, you know, who's winning? You're winning, right?
I'm winning. Yep.
And for anybody who is, you know, maybe a little bit newer to what we have to offer here at StreetText, or maybe hasn't spoken to one of us directly about the Facebook list, it's been a little while since we've spoken on them. It's really important to understand the impact that can have. Leon, you're the inventor, in my opinion, of the word free 99. It's kind of, we really rolled with that. And I mean, this is a free tool. This is a way that you can take leads you've already paid for. You paid for their clicks. You've got their information. This is another way for you to nurture them and stay in front of them. And consider putting people into different areas or different lists based on location, so that you can drip on them specific content, such as, you know, in the such and such area, in your neighborhood, in your county, in your state, whatever you want to do. I would like to keep it more, you know, segregated and small little groups of individuals, but then you can start dripping on them with, once again, home prices in your area are doing this, X amount of properties listed, sold, days on market. You can keep very specific information so that you always have the appearance of being that local individual, and you're not helping necessarily everybody, although you're going to have multiple lists. right? Ways of doing that. Every time you get a listing, hey, I just listed your neighbor. We all do those kind of postcards. Why not do it on Facebook as well? That's where you found a lot of your leads. Why not disseminate information to them there as well? There's so many different ways you can do this and use those tools. If you're not sure, we do have a module in the StreetText Insider group, pardon me, on the StreetText Academy, which my assumption is most of you should already have access to. If you don't, reach out to your coach. We'll make sure you guys get that. But we have some really good articles on how to use that, how to set it all up. And if you're unfamiliar with it, book with your coach and we'll make sure we take you through it. But it's a really, really neat feature.
Yeah, it's organic retargeting. Like we talk about running retargeting ads. I mean, if you're doing a post to a list, very specific list of your leads that are coming through, your seller leads, your buyer leads, you're organically retargeting them and it doesn't cost you anything. You know, free 99. It's awesome, right? You've already captured them with your ad. Now it's just like constantly being in their newsfeed. They're like, oh, there's another post. Oh, there's another post, right? No like and trust. This person's got lots of information, but they're also, again, they're going to see maybe some of your personal posts, which is great too. You know, they're going to get to know you as a person. So I love the list on Facebook. I think they're one of the most powerful things that you can possibly do on Facebook.
Absolutely. It makes you relatable. It makes you look like, you know, an actual human being outside of a real estate professional. Now, here's the thing that I want you to consider too. All of you probably never done this before. At some point you might want to, is go to your friends. Okay, go to your profile, click on friends. And I don't know if you knew this, but Facebook will segment your list for you. Okay, now all of a sudden you can go to also to recently added. So here's one of the best ways to stay in touch with your people. Because when you actually scroll over their name and click on message, you can see the last conversation you had. Okay, just randomly, just do this from your desktop. Scroll over name, and then of course, you're gonna wanna actually start segmenting into this list. Like, you know, Takoria, we did a 3-ad split test. I've done face-to-face video call with her. Like, it just helps you remember, and you start segmenting your own relationship management this way. Also, if you're gonna go through all your friends at some point, don't you wanna track the kind of influence you have in these people's life? Because if you're going through all these friends and you're like, how do I even know this person? Why are we friends? What's the point? Create and be intentional about that relationship, because there's no point if you scroll over them and you have no idea who they are. You just haven't, it's not a popularity contest if you can't track the influence you have in that person's life, or if they have influence in your life. So I think it's really good to be intentional at some point of going through your entire Facebook database and thinking of it that way, especially being in the relationship business that you're in. This is what Facebook is for. It's so powerful when you consider it.
And Marcus.
Yeah.
So I actually took your guys' advice, which works really well. So like since November, every morning I go on and I tell people happy birthday and I put them in a list. So by November, all 5,000 Facebook friends should be in a list. So that's an easy way to try to do it also.
That's amazing. Wendy, I mean, I had close to 4,000 friends at some point, and I really was intentional about going down there and saying, well, at some point, like, you know, because when you send a message, you can tell if someone's seeing it when they're your friend. So if you send multiple messages and they keep on ghosting you, you got to ask yourself, like, you know, are they meant to be in my life, or are they just like, what are we taking up each other's feed for? Because that's
right. Yeah, it's a good way to weed out people that you really have no. I mean, because I look through them and I'm like, yeah, I'm not even going to say happy birthday, just unfriend, because I actually need room for more friends. So, so when you go through them, because when I first started real estate, I just accepted everybody's friend request because I wanted everybody in the world to know what I did, you know. So, but now I'm like, oh, these guys are all in a different country. I'm pretty sure they're just dressed up as Marines to try to get me to date them. So
yeah.
Bye.
And here's the thing to consider, what most people understand is if you defriend them, they still are able to see your content if it's public. So it's so much more for you, because guess what? If they are really intentional about wanting to be friends with you, they'll actually friend request you again. Right?
True.
That's the way I look at it. So it's not like they know you've defriended them. They have no idea. In that it's just for your own management. So that's something to kind of consider as you kind of go there. And then as far as birthdays are concerned, that's a perfect way, because if you're like, oh, I can't do that, I'm too overwhelmed. If you look at the birthday option, then it's only going to be a certain amount of birthdays a day. So if you know, okay, here's everybody's birthday. I know these people. Oh, I don't know this person. Let me go in and check on them. It's their birthday. Let's see what kind of relationship we already have. I'm going to go check my messenger, see what kind of who they are. Now this makes more sense in terms of making it easier for you to decide if they should be a friend in your life, or maybe you need to create a relationship with them, or in fact, not be friends with them. And that's kind of options you look at by using the birthday feature.
Also on the friend side, when people send you friend requests, I get it all the time. I get tons of friend requests. I always look at it and I go, well, is this somebody I need to be friends with? If not, I'll actually delete the request, knowing that they don't see that and they're still following me, right? So, you know, we might not be friends, but they're still seeing my content, right? And that's kind of one of those important things. On the other side too, if you unfriend them, like we kind of mentioned, they are still following you as well. So they're still seeing your content. And if it is somebody who, let's say, yeah, wants to reach out to you, they'll send you, you know, a messenger, right? And they'll be able to connect with you that way. So it's really for your own sanity, having 5,000 people and managing them on Facebook. That's a lot, even to remember. So
here's something to consider too. Do it with video. Because if you send a video message, that's going to be something memorable. If you send a quick text check-in like, happy birthday, explanation mark. Okay. You know, you send me a video message, or, hey, you've got the audio option too, which is like a voice note. Just be unique, be different. That's the ability that Facebook Messenger gives you, right? And so I would say the connection you have with Facebook Messenger is so powerful, and also your friend network by checking in. Yeah, we love BombBomb, we love Zoom, but why not use tools that we know people are already comfortable with? They already use every single day. Messenger is there. All you got to do is check in. You can see right now, if you go to your homepage, everybody who's online, it's lit up in green. Everybody who has access to their Facebook Messenger has a good chance of responding to you right now and seeing that message. That's your time right now when things are a little bit weird, to go check in and create just a relationship with somebody.
Yeah, no, we're getting close to the top of the hour here, and I did really want to get some feedback and get some other people's information as to, once again, a lot of what the purpose for this meeting obviously was also how we're going to navigate the current climate that we're in again, right? So I really want to get a little bit more feedback on, has anybody else started running any ads to address this, or changing their process slightly that may help others? I have an ad that I created. We're just getting it going, so I'll give feedback to the group once I see some actual results on it. But we've got a couple new angles, things that you can set up. One that I don't mind sharing and showing you guys. But I would like to see if anybody else has come up with anything, even if it's just off the top of your head. If you want to put in the chat feature or something, here's some ad copy I've been considering, or an angle that might work. And then we can once again work as a group. And I'm dedicating the rest of my week really to coming up with some new ads that, once again, don't come off as either A, insensitive, B, fear-mongering, but offering a new type of connection with people. So does anybody have anything that they'd like to share first?
Like I said before when I first came on, I've changed up the thing. I'm going to do a custom ad, and it'll have the video attached to it, because video is more powerful and more direct, and it'll outline the steps we're taking because I'm targeting sellers. So it'll target to the sellers what we are doing to sit here and minimize traffic, because we know that the concern they have is they don't know who's came through their house. And by outlining what we do, I'm going to also sit there and let them direct, either call, text, or email me, or Facebook Messenger me, to go ahead and be able to get the link, so we can kind of show them something in more detail for how we plan on doing this. Because the idea behind it is still, you need to get engagement. So if they watch it and do nothing happens. So you don't want to just do a short mini movie. You just want to keep it short, a minute or so, outlining things you do, and tell them to just hit you up to get the link to your video, so you can show them in a little more detail, or talk to them and, let them know what you're doing for their safety as well, because that's what everybody needs to promote, is what you're doing for their safety.
Yeah, and here I'll quickly show you guys one ad that I came up with, and you guys can let me know what you think. But basically, once again, we're really trying not to harp too much on any kind of crisis or anything like that. But one thing that I'm finding is seeming to get good reaction so far is something like this, right? Imagery, whatever you want, something reflective of the area. We can go with a house, we can go with a map, we can go with whatever you want, but verbiage similar to this, have the current health concerns postponed your plans to sell your home this year. So once again, not really fear mongering, but just asking that question, because this may be the case, and we can identify people who maybe were thinking of selling, but are now holding back for whatever reason, right? So have the concerns postponed your plans, find the value of your home, and learn about our new guidelines to market and sell your home virtually. Again, keeping you and your family safe is our #1 priority. Something in that realm is kind of the direction that I'm feeling is appropriate to go. But once again, I really want to get some feedback from you guys who are the people who are actually offering the service. Now, the way that this ad's going to work is we're using the custom lead ad on this one. So it doesn't involve a landing page. And the way that this is going to work is that you can set up using Calendly, let's say. You can set up for this particular individual. All they've done is they put on their Facebook business page
Can you show that again, Logan?
Sure. Yeah. There we go. But this individual here, they've got on their Facebook business page, which is where this ad's going to lead using the follow-up URL. They've just simply got their calendar or some available times, and it says book your virtual consultation now. Pretty easy. You can do the exact same thing using Calendly. Right? So when somebody clicks on this ad, maybe they go directly to your calendar and you've got a bunch of times blocked off. So you have a few available. That's just basically book with me. It'll connect through Zoom. I can do a virtual meeting with you. We can identify and address any potential concerns. And if that individual wants to sell their home, but they're at the highest level of panic, let's say, they may not want open houses, right? So as an alternative to an open house, what are we going to do instead? Okay, video walkthroughs. I'm going to make sure I'm going to come to your home, right? Or I'll let you film the video, however we want to work and manage their fears, of course. But once again, I think it's just an opportunity to offer something here, get in front of them, and then we can explain to them what's really going on in the market. And hopefully, I hate to say talk some sense into them, but once again, everybody is at a different level of where they are right now, if that makes any sense. And, especially those, more elderly, infirm, everything like that. I mean, they're still buyers and sellers. So we do need to speak to different people differently, but keeping a message that's not over the top, overly sensational, things like that, and then identify the people who really have questions, figure out where they are, identify their potential concerns, and then what is your strategy to deal with whatever that is. Right? I mean, if we're still doing open houses, limit the flow that's coming through, sanitize all the surfaces. There's ways to deal with that. If they don't want to do an open house, there's alternatives to that as well. But the first step is still to meet with them, right? And even for somebody who is as highly concerned as they could possibly be, you're not contagious through the computer, right? So it's a really good opportunity to meet with them, ask them questions, figure out where they are, and then come up with solutions together to help them buy or sell a home.
If I can just ask something about the open house situation. I implement something before that happens, actually. And I decided to say, even if I have a guarantee survey that I give every time I meet a seller, I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing caravans with the brokers and I'm doing open houses. And I said, actually, I'm not doing open houses anymore. And then I look very shocked. I said, why? I said, what I'm doing visits, just an appointment. That's going to help me to focus on the sales of the house. But also if I have a direct client, I can focus on the buyer too. So that I give a more exquisite and a more exclusive experience of visits. And also that's secure everyone. So you're not going to have a crowd. You're not going to treat, like, especially right now, like a situation people are uncomfortable to come and not going to come. By doing that, I'm removing also all the tourists that I don't want to see in an open house that's going to unfocus me on my job. Basically, I'm doing VIPs, I would say a VIP service for any kind of properties. The result is last week I did that for the full weekend. I had 33 visits scheduled for the full weekend, and I add some more openings. I received 11 offers, and I received an offer. It's a record price for the location I was, because you create a situation where people are going to be more comfortable and more secure, and they're going to feel that they are important. And we're talking about a small condo at $239,000 Canadian dollars, so 25% less than you guys if you want to invest in Canada, by the way. it's better. And even the buyer who bought the place paid a big price, and there's a tenant going to stay for another year inside. You can have access right now, and the seller is just, you know, amazed by the situation. By creating this, even when we said the value proposition, we can ask, said you're going to come, it's going to be secure for you, and we need to secure the buyers to make sure the sellers are going to sell. Because if there's no buyers on the market anymore because of this, the sellers won't be there. If we tell them there's a lot of buyers, we're going to secure them, we're going to make sure your house is going to be sold, sellers going to follow, you know, the lead, because we are once again, we're creating solution. That's our job.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that for anybody who's ever dealt with luxury buyers before, I mean, you have to do it a little bit differently. I mean, for most buyers, you schedule showings, you can show them through some homes, and you kind of do it all together. With luxury buyers, for anybody who's ever done that before, you know that that's not the case. You preview 10 homes before you show them one of them, typically. And I know I did. So you may have to do things similar to that again. Let's start offering services that are a little bit above and beyond. That's good for the seller and the buyer, right? Instead of parading through people through an open house, instead of bringing, you know, tons of people through your home, I'm going to make sure that, you know, maybe the buyer's agent shows up alone, does the walkthrough, takes some video, takes pictures, and make sure that that individual is fully qualified, right? We always tell our sellers anyways, we're only going to show your home to qualified buyers, right? But let's take that another step. We're going to take qualified buyers who are actually showing real interest in your property. Before I just start bringing everybody into your home, I'm going to make sure that they've been vetted, that their financials are in order, everything's in order, and we're not going to have, you know, hundreds of people in and out of your home while it's listed. Only those that are, and I mean, it is a hot market. We're still selling homes. We see it, right? So just start coming up with solutions. Julian, I think that's perfect. Exactly what you said with everything. And once again, it's figuring out what's happening around us, helping everybody else adapt. So the one question or the ask I have of everybody is, you all should have access to the insiders group. Any ad copy you could possibly think, throw it in there, and we'll start kind of putting some things together. And the more content we're getting from everybody, the quicker here at StreetText, we might be able to put a few ads together. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to handle this, but if I'm going to be building a few ads myself. So if I can see some other ad copy and some other angles that you guys would like to try, I'll start building into some new strategies and then making them available to everybody. So let us know what you'd like to see, buyers or sellers, either side of the deal.
And just to finish on this subject, what is the only thing we cannot buy actually? It's time. So during these 2 days, people were going in front of it. It was actually a condo building. So, oh, I saw you doing a visit. Can I come visit? Unfortunately, you don't have an appointment. I have an opening tomorrow at this time. Oh no, it's okay. So I don't waste my time with people that gonna waste it anyway. So let's be smart. Let's focus on the reality. Let's go to the base and just do our job properly for both. And if somebody's gonna tell me, yes, I can come tomorrow at this time, I know it's a serious buyer. And if it's not for him, I have a new buyer. That's it.
Awesome. Tanya, if you can unmute yourself, you said you have a good idea that your broker sent out for listings.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
If you guys hear a chainsaw in the background, it's not me, it's my neighbor. They're chopping down trees.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, we've had a ton of rain here in North Texas, and so they're either falling over or anyway, just issues. But no, this was an idea from our broker that they sent out, Century 21 Judge Fight broker, on setting up a protocol station for new listings or people that are, I have a new listing coming up April 1st and they're a little squeamish with, you know, everything going on. And so the broker came up with a protocol station, which is kind of cool. And if it's available at the grocery store, we can provide it, but a little station with hand sanitizer, an alternative if there isn't any, like a little thingy of hand soap, paper towels, a wastebasket readily available to throw it away, gloves if available, tissues, and a guest log requesting or containing like the agent name, the brokerage, and then a question stating, is the guest protocol followed, yes or no? So it's kind of cool. I think it just shows that we're taking an extra step, showing that we're engaged with it, we're aware of it, we're concerned also, but like everybody's been saying, it's not a reason to not list and show and continue on with life as normal, but showing that we're taking that extra step. So I like that, the little protocol station.
That's cool. For those of you that are looking to do the virtual connection and you're like, okay, how would I even begin doing that? I'm just gonna share my screen, because the same way you guys book with your coaches is what we're trying to teach you you could do with your clients. So for example, when someone books into my calendar, and you would be no different than the options you would provide somebody with a link in your auto email, or if you're personally sending out a link to that person, it would be the Calendly / your name. They would get to this page, and you could create content specifically to the way you're doing business. When they book and they pick that time, you can create in your calendar the time you have available. Now, what happens is when they go to their calendar, and I'll see if I can get my calendar pulled up here, and it's just your own personal calendar, there'll be a Zoom meeting attached into it. So it integrates perfectly with Zoom. And at that moment, when they go into their calendar, or you go into your calendar as the realtor, you can see that there's an actual Zoom meeting ID associated to it. And you can help give them directions as it sends out on how they're gonna access it. But that's the best part. They can go right into that Zoom meeting and meet you face-to-face at that time through the Calendly. And that's how you guys book into my calendar. It's no different than how you get your leads or your clients to book with you to do a virtual face-to-face consultation. And in that case, you could do a lot from that moment, from that meeting, just to set the tone and create the opportunity and relationship to kind of pre-qualify that person. So just something to think about. It's a strong opportunity to kind of tap into both Calendly and Zoom as an integration. So if you want more on that, just let us know. We can build a kind of a platform or a module on that, but it's really helpful when you're kind of tapping into the virtual relationship. Cool. Anybody else? I know we're kind of coming at the last part of this hour. Anything you'd like to add before we let you guys go today?
Just one thing, because I'm Canadian, so I need to say sorry if I was very intense today. You also need to understand I'm from France, guys, so we are pretty intense there. So sorry if I was pretty sometimes raw or direct. This is how I proceed also with my clients. I told them, unfortunately, sometimes you're going to hate me because I'm going to tell you the truth, and sometimes the truth is not very easy to understand and to listen.
I think that's something that we can all draw from. Obviously, we need to change how we speak to certain clients, perhaps, but I mean, be who you are, right? I love it. I think that you need to be direct. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think that once again, you know, in what we're dealing with, being direct with people is the only way to be, right? So if our clients have concerns, fair enough. We do need to be careful how we speak to them to a point, but still you can't sugarcoat it. We have to let them know exactly how we feel and what we're thinking of things. And we're helping people with one of, if not the biggest financial decision of their lives, right? So what's the purpose then of softening it or sugarcoating anything? Let's be direct. Let's be honest. Let's let people know exactly what's going on and how we can help them.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys. That was an amazing mastermind. We appreciate you as always. Give us your feedback in the Insider group of Facebook. Anything that you want help with, anything that you liked about today's topics, anything that you want to go in deeper, we can segment it out and create private discussions around. We look forward to next week's mastermind. In the meantime, reach out to your coaches if you need any help, and we'll be with you soon. Thanks, guys.